this is Mr. N going over Math 5 Quiz number 1, Chapter P, Sections 1 to 4, taken on August 16, 2018. Multiple choice, circle the best solution. Question number 1, simplify. In this problem, the -4 doesn't need the parentheses, you can drop it. Here I do need the parentheses to say the opposite of a negative is a positive 7 and then a plus 5. Left to right, you can use order of operations, PEMDAS. You could have done -4 plus 7, which gives you a positive 3. 3 plus 5 gives you 8, or -4 plus 12 gives you also 8. Letter choice D. Although I'm not checking your work for the multiple choice, if I do see that students are getting all correct answers with no work, I assume that they're either being lazy or cheating, so I might need to change the format of the quiz or test in different versions or make it more difficult. Let's take a look at some student work. Here's a good example of a student who changed the opposite of a negative sign to a positive sign, and they even show the work. I like that. For this question, simplify. You have -6 times the radical square root of 147. So the square root of 147 you can break down into 7 times 21. And 21 can be broken down to 7 times 3. Well, I see a pair here. You can circle the pair that come out, and you have 7 times -6 out here is multiplication. That's -42 radical 3, which is choice A. Showing you guys this student work because they broke down the factors of 147 differently. They chose 3 times 49. You could just use your calculator, either divide it by 2, well it's an odd, so you can try with 3, it's an odd number. So 3 goes into 147 49 times. 49 is broken down to 7 times 7. They nicely showed that here, circled it, brought it outside, and then they multiplied. I like that. Question number 3 says, simplify square root of 162 plus 3 square root of 32 plus 5 radical 128. Notice that all the radicals are not the same, therefore they're not like terms. We're going to have to simplify those. How did I simplify those? Well, I turned 162 is an even number, so I can just keep dividing by 2. 2 times 81, and then 81 is 99. Well, there's my pair there, because square root of 81 is a perfect square. The 9 comes out, so I have 9 radical 2. 32 can be written down as 16 times 2, and we're looking for the perfect squares. And square root of 16 is 4, so 4 times 3 out here gives you 12. 12 radical 2. And then 128 divided by 2, so 128 in your factorization tree is 64 times 2. Square root of 64 is 8 and 8. That's a pair. It comes out. 8 times 5 is 40. The 9 plus 12 plus 40 gives me 61 radical 2. Here's some student work on question number 3. Interesting enough, it doesn't look like the student had a calculator because they keep trying to do long division without the factorization tree. They started with 2 times 76. That would give you 152, so this one was incorrect. They tried it by 3 because of odd. It goes into 54, but interesting enough, I don't see them breaking down 3 times 54. I do see them breaking down 3 times the square root of 32. 16, 2, 4's come out. I see that. I see that. This is the correct answer, but I would have liked to see them simplify the square root of 162. Question number 4, I'm going to use some student work. The correct answer is D, 61. B minus 2 squared plus A squared gives A is 6, B is 7. Let's see what the student has. They wrote down the equation again. Substitute the B value is 7, A is 6. There's their parentheses. Would have been nice to see another parentheses or bracket there. Very good. They did the brackets or parentheses first, then they do the exponents. Add those together, you get 61. That's correct. Question number 5, multiple choice. Simplify the opposite of -2 to the third power. The temptation for the student is to change the opposite of a -2 to a +2, and then do 2 to the third power. Although that does give you 8, which is the correct answer, that's not how you would do the problem. Let's see what this student has. Yeah, see, this student got the correct answer, circle the correct answer. Their work is wrong, so you should have done order of operations exponents first. So this is really -2 times -2 times -2, which gives you -8, and you get the opposite, which is +8. Yeah, this student did the same thing. See, made a big plus sign because they thought the opposite didn't have the order of operations. Yeah, this student had it better here. They wrote a -1, which I like, and they show that this is a -8 multiplied +8. So although B is the correct answer, this is the correct work. Number 6, the answer is C. Let's take a look at this work here. Order of operations, you should have been using the inside of the parentheses. So I have 7 minus 5, which is 2, and they use 2 squared, which is 4, and then 3 times 4 is 20 minus 19 is 1. So we're going from the inside of those parentheses and brackets, and then 20 minus 19 is 1. 1 squared is 1, so 4 plus 1 is 5. So they should have 3 times 5, which gives you, this was cut off, 15, and the 15 plus the 14 gives you the, oh, they have it over here, that should equal to 29, so that's correct. I wanted to show you this student's work. They recognize that it's helpful for them to use colors, and so it kind of indicates what they're doing here, kind of inside parentheses, then working your way out. It's a good job. Question number 7 on the back side. Tells you to simplify. Here it doesn't tell us about any decimals, therefore you should just have an exact answer, which means you should have a radical. Free response says make sure to show all your work and box your answers. So to do the problem, you can write out the factors. 50 times 1, 25 and 2, 10 and 5. I'm choosing 25 times 2 because 25 is a perfect square. What does that mean? When you break it down, it has 2 identical numbers. Those pairs come out. 2 is left inside. 5 right equal 2 is your answer. To get full credit, that's 4 points right there. And then if you didn't get this correct, but you wrote out the factors, I gave you 2 points. This one's a good job. Radical 25 times radical 2's. This part they should have had not inside the radical, but this is the correct answer. I wanted to show you this one that I had to box their answer, so they probably got a -2 for being messy. Question number 8 tells you to simplify. You have a big problem here. This is a order of operations problem. It's called simplifying an expression. There's no equal sign. Right away I'm writing a PEMDAS, and then P stands for the parentheses, so I'm going to use the innermost grouping symbol. So you have a set of brackets here, and then you also have a set of parentheses. So you're going to do the parentheses first. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then inside there, you can choose exponents. 2 to the 3rd power means not 2 times 3, which is 6. It's 2 times 2 times 2. So the base is written 3 times, so that gives you 8. As you go from step to step, don't forget some of the symbols here. So now, don't be tempted to do 5 minus 8 because you still have this other grouping symbol or parentheses or brackets. So it's 8 minus 6 gives you the 2. Below, you have on the bottom here, I'm not going to subtract first because exponents come first. So 2 squared is 4, and then 5 minus 4 is 1. And then 5 minus 2 gives you 3. The correct answer is 3. I wanted to show you guys this student's work. Here, they did do the parentheses correct, so they did something correct. 4 plus 2 is 6, but what happens here is they dropped the brackets, even though they simplified 2 to the 3rd power. And then this is where they went wrong, because I told them to keep those brackets. They went to go left to right, 5 minus 8, and that gives you the incorrect answer going that direction. So keep those brackets until you've actually simplified everything, and then you could do 5 minus that number. So I only gave them a 2 out of 4. Right, here's another problem where I gave them only a 2. They did the inside the parentheses. 4 plus 2 is 6. 2 to the 3rd power is 8. But here, pay attention, because they probably did step by step, this is subtraction there. And I think they changed that subtraction sign to multiplication, because then somehow they get a positive 48. That's why I think they multiply those two numbers. So there you can see I circled it for them to pay attention to that. Here's another example where the student exponents. This is not 2 times 206. I circle it for them to pay attention. That's incorrect. All right, and question number 9 says to evaluate. We said that the word evaluate means to replace. Well, what do you replace this function with? This is a function notation. The reason why you know it's function notation, we normally say w of x. So what does that mean? Well, it gives me w of x equals negative 3x squared minus x, and then it tells us a clue separated by the semicolon f of w, find w of negative 4. Well, we learned in class that you should put the function notation above it, w of x, and this is kind of like your key. W in this function, w, you're going to replace every x value with a negative 4. So there's an x value, I'm going to replace it with negative 4. I'm going to do the substitutions with parentheses. So where I put the x, I'm going to put in a parentheses. So here, remember we have order of operations. You're going to use your exponents first. Remember this is negative 4 times negative 4, which is a positive 16. You can put that in your calculator to verify that. Opposite of a negative 4 is positive 4. Negative 3 times 16 is a negative 48. And negative 48 plus 4 is a negative 44. So when you plug in x is negative 4, your function output value is negative 44. And this gives you the order pair negative 4, negative 44. All you need is really negative 44, so full credit. Students leave their quizzes or a question blank. I'm going to put a circle through a slash to let us know that you just left it blank, and I cannot give you the 1 point for trying. Now on my answer key, I would have given this student 3 points if they had a negative 48. Why I circled this part is the student forgot to substitute in a negative x over there. That's why I only gave them a 2. And over here, you're not replacing the w with the negative 4 because then they multiplied. You should have just left that as w of negative 4, w parentheses negative 4, close parentheses. I want to show you the student work. It looks like a negative 44 here, and then be careful, they boxed this as their final answer, but that kind of looks like a plus sign. So be careful of your erasure marks, make it complete, and this is the reason why we don't use pen, we use pencil. So example again, student forgot the negative x there. I gave him 3 because at least got negative 48. Yeah, I'm not sure what this student did here. I think they put in w is negative 4, because over here they put that, and then they did this, and then I don't know how they got 2.25. Maybe that's where they think their answer was. 2.25 squared times negative 3 equals negative 4. I'm not sure. I'll put an x, and then I should have given the student a 1 point for trying, 2 points to get the substitution. Showing the student work because although they did the substitution correct, which gives them the 2 points, here their order of operations is incorrect. They decided to multiply, and that's incorrect because in order of operations it tells you to do exponents first. Here's another example. I think the student got confused. They thought they're putting every w value is negative 4, and we're just putting every x value is negative 4 now. They did something crazy like 3 squared is 9x, I don't know. And then divided. That's interesting. The other student got 2.25, so I don't know if they were sitting next to each other. 9 divided by 4 is 2.25. I only gave the student a 1. They generally tried the problem. Nothing is correct in terms of going towards the right direction. Over here, I added the parentheses. Student didn't have that. Put a plus sign, and then I put a check mark for this is correct, but they boxed their final answer as 11, and that's why I gave them a 3. I think the function notation on the left side, they thought that you would divide on both sides. It's just, this is what the answer kind of looks like on the left side. Question number 10, evaluate the expression for the given values for the variables. There for response questions out of 4 points. Q squared plus 4 times Q times R minus R squared for R equals 3 and Q equals 7. So for each of those, I'm going to put a parentheses. Every Q value is 7. Every Q value is 7 with parentheses right there. R value is 3 and then R value is 3. So all of this, I'm going to use order of operations. So x comes first. 7 squared is 49. 3 squared is 9. The reason why this is not negative 3, if they wanted this to be a negative, that would have been the inside, but remember order of operations tell you to do exponents before you multiply. Here, the reason why I'm multiplying all of those, that's in the PEMDAS, that's the second section, right? So 4 times 7 times 3 gives you 84. So 49 plus 84 minus 9 gives you 124 as your correct answer. Let's take a look at this student. 28 times 3, 84. 120. Just add it in correctly. Yeah, use that calculator. Nice and organized, I liked it. 4 points, box their answer. Last week when we took the quiz, we had some guests in class, and this was their quiz. Take a look at their work, looks just like what I expected. Get a box their answer. Let's take a look at this work. The student wrote down the problem, substitutions are correct. You even have out the order of operations PEMDAS, and right here, I circled that because they put, when they're substituting, R is at 3 there and Q's at 7. And they're thinking maybe the 3 is a positive, but remember, up here it's a positive 4 times Q times R. Remember, there's no math operation in between them that would do multiplication, so you should not have put in there that plus sign. This student was probably thinking that this is negative 3 squared, which gives them the positive 9. Circle that because it's incorrect. It's 3 squared, then the opposite of that, order of operations. Take a look at this one. Everything is substituted correctly. Give them 2 points. The simplifying here, 49 is correct. 4 times 7. And then here I circled it because they wanted to jump to addition, but they should have done all their multiplications first, and that's why this one is incorrect. There's by scoring. If you got 3 points, if you simplifying but you made a mistake there, or you only got 2 points out of the whole problem if you did a substitution correctly. At the bottom of your paper, can I get there? All right, this is how we added up your score. So that each free response on the back side is 4 points. So 4 times 4 problems, 16 points. And then I got 14 here for the front side because every problem, there are 6 of them. Each multiple choice is worth 2. So 6 times 2 is 12. And then you got 1 point for writing your first and last name correctly, nicely. That's 1 point. And then circling the correct period. That's another point. So that's 14 points on this side. So 14 plus 16 gives you a 30. So if you had something circled here, maybe you didn't box your answers on the back side, or you were messy, you lost points. So take the pre-score minus any of those, and then your final score, and circle, and that's your final score. If you have any errors, please come back on your own time. Before school is a great time this year. And what I do is I just bring up these PDF files, and then we get to look at your work again, just to double check. And if I ever need this as evidence, we have it. And hopefully this was great learning, seeing other students' work and comments. Have a great day.